Are you a speaker? Are you a speaker that's out there sharing your message, however, you're not making any money at it? Do you want to maybe create online programs as a way of selling something from the stage? Do you want more people to know about what you have to offer and get it in their hands right away? Well, this is the perfect interview for you. I am AmondaRose Igoe, your speaking success strategist. I'm an award-winning speaking expert and best-selling author. And today I have Dr. Joe White here with us. And Dr. Joe is highly regarded in his industry. He's worked with celebrities, sports athletes, and he has been part of many best-selling programs. And I'll have Dr. Joe tell a little bit about himself in a moment. So just know that you're in the right place. Get ready to take out a pen and a piece of paper or your phone or your tablet, your computer, because you're going to want to write this stuff down. Dr. Joe, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
We're super excited to be here. So Dr. Joe, I know you have a really diverse background. So tell us a little bit about what you do, and then we'll take a moment to kind of share how you got into what you're doing.
So I started off teaching real estate investing, and of course I put it into a course, and then as technology evolved, I started doing it on an online course. But I've had the ability to work with speakers, and I've worked with events, seminars, workshops, CEO Space International, which is one of the #1 business conferences in the world. And just all that has kind of led me to really want to work or to gain knowledge in the information marketing area. And I enjoy sharing that information with the world.
Yep, and I'll just share with everybody, you have such a huge, big heart, and that's one of the reasons you're here. You always want to make sure that you're of service to people, that you help people. You not only help them, but you inspire them, you give them great information. So I'm honored to have you as a guest.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here, and you're one of my favorite people to talk to. So coming here just to have a conversation with you actually is like a gift to me.
Oh, thank you. Same here. Same here. So how did you get into what you're currently doing?
So when I started doing real estate investing, eventually it came to the point where I had friends who wanted to learn real estate investing. They started coming to my house once a week, and I would teach them a class, and then they asked to bring more people. And eventually what ended up happening is I had 100 people coming into my basement every single Monday to learn real estate investing. So I said to myself, I got to do something different in this, because my neighbors are going to try to put me out the neighborhood with all these cars and everything going on every single week. So what I actually decided to do was I decided I would put everything into a course. And, one of the things is we're talking about courses for speakers. The #1 important thing is your framework. And your framework, you can change the course, update the course, but the framework normally stays the same. And the framework is kind of like your 10-step strategy, your 8-step strategy, your 7-step strategy. So the same 10-step strategy I was teaching at my home, I put into a course. And then I started teaching hundreds and then later thousands across the United States and Canada. And then maybe every 4 to 5 years, I'll update the course, but it's the same framework every single time. And I've been using that same framework for almost 20 years and teaching it everywhere.
Wow. And so you were doing online programs and teaching before most people have ever gotten started. So I've only owned my business for 14 years. So you were 6 years ahead of me, and I didn't start creating online programs until three years ago, where people could go and access training from me online. So you were doing this way before, individuals like myself were doing it.
Yeah, I've always tried to stay ahead of whatever trend is coming in. And I saw the whole emergence of internet marketing long before most people did. Matter of fact, one of the crazy things I did before Visa even thought about doing a prepaid credit card, I went to them and told them they should do a prepaid credit card. And I try to start other internet businesses. But I think that when I kind of got to the point where I started doing online courses, it was a comfortable spot for me, because I enjoy teaching. I enjoy sharing. Even though I had all these other internet ideas, this was the one that I kind of gravitated the most to, because it was doing what I love, but also at the same time doing it over the internet, and which makes it easy.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure you have also seen growth in your business internationally that way too, because now, with social media, right? So more people can find out what you do from all over the world.
Most definitely. One of the things that I think I got trapped in, and I try to be transparent and share some of my challenges with people too, because a lot of times people have the same challenges. I think sometimes as speakers, we get caught up in we can only teach one thing. So because I started off teaching real estate investing, I kind of got caught in the trap that I didn't want to create what I call brand confusion. I could only teach real estate investing. But I mean, I had a passion to teach self-help. I wanted to teach, online course creation, entrepreneurship, and other things. And then it was only about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, that I said, you know what, you can open up and you can teach other things besides real estate, because you have so much other knowledge and you have other things you can share with people. What about, you've had a real estate course for 18, 19 years. Why don't you teach how you created that course, how you market that course, how you sell that course? And it's not real estate, but it's all the things that you did in order to share your real estate techniques with the world. So that was something I think a lot of speakers, as I'm talking to them and I'm meeting with speakers, they all say, well, you know what, I want to teach this, but I also want to teach this. So that's something we tackle often. And we talk about, okay, establish one brand, build that brand, but then let's build the other brands separately. So as to kind of go back to what you were saying, when I started wanting to speak to the rest of the world, I changed from just not doing real estate, because the real estate laws in America and Canada are similar. But when you start going places like I'm going now to India, to Morocco and other areas, I wanted to teach something different because the laws aren't the same.
Right. Yeah, because you do have to take that in consideration. And also too, now with the GDPR or GRDP, right? That was a whole, we won't get into that, but that is for somebody that is unfamiliar, that's where, because of the changes in Europe, if you work with people, have clients or an email database that's anywhere in Europe, you've got to make changes. So, but that's a whole different thing. We won't go into a detail, but we do have to take into consideration where our people are from. But the power of doing online is that you can literally touch anybody from anywhere. Mm-hmm. I do believe that, then we're going to talk about what kind of products you want to create. I think that as speakers, it's not just speaking. There's so many different things, and there's many different, as you touched on, there's many different things that you can teach, because we often teach what we need to learn or what we just learned, right? Right? So you said that because you did that perfectly, right? Because you created it. And so I learned all these things that work and don't work. And now I can teach people how to create online programs because I've been doing it.
And, one of the things I think too, a mistake or something that sometimes holds speakers up, and hopefully this may help somebody who's watching or listening, is that sometimes we learn something and we think we don't know it well enough to teach it. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things I had to realize is that there's somebody out there who has not gotten to where you are. And so at that particular time, you're speaking to that audience and those people who need what you have. Don't worry about the fact that you don't know everything about it, because you may not be speaking to the expert. 90% of the people who buy courses aren't experts anyway. That expert market of people who know most everything about a particular market is only like 10%. Those 90% are going to be beginners. So don't worry about the fact that you may not know enough. Just start sharing.
Yeah. And also too, and I think you're probably good at this as well as I am. It doesn't have to be perfect. Right? Because perfection, it'll never be perfect, because everything that you do, every event I've ever done, every presentation, there's always another level, always something I learned, something I want to do differently, or multiple things. So perfection, let it go, because that will literally stop you in your tracks. And I'm sure you've because you've created so much, Joe, that you probably have lived with the kind of like, I'm going to move it forward and I'll figure it out and make it as best as it can be each time I do it.
I so agree with you. And I teach a lot of times when I'm teaching private classes or my platinum classes, the consensus is always the same. Everybody keeps trying to make the content perfect, mm-hmm. and it kind of stalls the progress. When I recorded my last round of recording my real estate investing course, I hated it. I mean, I hated it with a passion. And then when I released it and people start buying it, everybody loved it. And I'm thinking to myself, how do they like this? I don't like it, but I hear all the errors that I make, but they don't hear them.
That's right.
Yeah, so I had to realize it's progress, not perfection. Just do a little bit more, get a little better each time, but just get started.
And you'll change names of products and things like that. So I was using Big Impact and Income Speaker online. It was an online training program. And then I had heard something recently, which made total sense to me. When you put the word big, people go, well, that's hard. It has to take a long time. I'm like, oh, okay, that needs to be totally renamed. And then you find things that work and don't work. I don't know if this has been true for you. I've been doing speaking training for the last 14 years. That's what I do, right? So from beginner to more advanced speaker. And I've changed my overall branding message probably like 6 times in 14 years. Right? People think, oh, my branding message is going to stay the same, just like my program or product is going to stay. It always evolves. Would you agree?
I totally agree. You know, I read Think and Grow Rich every single year, and every single year I get something different out of it. And I was like, was that there the first time? You know, maybe I just missed it or I didn't see it. And one of my mentors was sharing with me, the reason why you keep seeing something different each time thinking it wasn't there the first time is because every time you've read it, you're a different person. And I said that to say, you know, we evolve. You're not the same coach or speaker that you were a year and a half ago. So now sometimes your message has to be tweaked to change.
Yep. And this also could be true with the clients that we work with, right? The people that we service. And so I love that. I heard you share this and I was like, oh, this is gold. So there are phases of a customer. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what the phases are? Because I think people will go, oh my gosh, I got some of these, but I need some more of those.
Yeah. I think that the first phase is being aware that somebody knows you exist. And then the next thing is if they become like a client and maybe they're getting your emails or they actually buy your product. The next thing, they become a fan or they become part of your tribe. And your tribe are those people who they kind of consume everything you have. They get all your emails. They participate in most all the events you have. And ultimately, what you want to do is take them along the path to what they become what's called an evangelist. And evangelists basically go out and sell your product for you. And they will go out and tell everybody about you. And, you know, one of the things that I got really good at over the years was building an evangelist. To the point I felt I started getting spoiled because I wasn't actually doing a lot of marketing. My evangelists were bringing people to buy the product. So ultimately what you want to do is have those evangelists so that it's kind of the cherry on top in your marketing at the same time. And I think that's how you build a long-term business. And one of the ways you get strong evangelists is good customer service. I think sometimes people think that the marketing is just, you know, the sales page, the landing page, the emails. The real customer service is after the sale happens. And that's the best marketing. You know, how you treat the people that bought your product.
That's right. That's right. Yep. And I think people often think evangelists have to be customers. They can also be people that you've done business with, right? And they sing your praises to other people. It doesn't mean they've been a client, but you had some kind of business relationship. They can be an affiliate and they tell other affiliates about you.
I'm a AmondaRose evangelist. I think that you're awesome.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. I mean, you have one of the best speaking events. You know, if people haven't been to your event, I would say, you know, and this is not just to market or sell for you, but I feel like you gave so much at the last event I went to that you had that was just amazing, overwhelming. So you guys, if you get a chance to go to anything AmondaRose has, definitely go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And for those that are interested, if you go to empoweredspeakerevent.com, empoweredspeakerevent.com, because just like Dr. Joe, I put my heart and my soul into what I do. You know, we're both very committed to your results. And so I think that event just highlights how much I want you to succeed and give you the tools. And then I know Dr. Joe operates the same way.
Yeah.
So let's talk about income when it comes to speakers. A lesson that I learned and that I saw happen was when 2008, when the real estate market went, right? You like that sound? Yeah, that's what it did. It went down. And so a lot of speakers who had solely had corporate speaking gigs, right? That was their income. That's what they were focused on. And then their income literally dried up, vanished. So now they didn't have other sources of income as a speaker. And as a speaker, you want to have multiple platforms of ways of creating income. So let's kind of talk about that.
So I coined a name for the processes I use, and I call it the Lego effect.
Lego?
The Lego effect. So when I'm creating content on creating streams of income, I try to create them one upon each other. And so as a speaker, a lot of times we say the first thing that most speakers think about is a book. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but a book to me builds authority. It says that you're the expert in that particular field. But the framework you use to actually write the book, so maybe it's still, again, your 10 steps to doing whatever. That 10 steps, then you may put into a course. And you're going to take a deeper dive in each of the chapters in a video or audio course that you're going to then sell. So now you got two streams of income. You got the book, you have the course, then you may have also affiliate marketing. So sometimes, like as speakers, I know like one of my favorite products that I use on a daily basis is audiobooks or by Audible. So I recommend that. And I have an affiliate relationship with Audible. So I may recommend that in my book, or I may recommend that on YouTube, or I may recommend that on video. And so I have a lot of affiliate relationships. Anything that I recommend, if possible, if I use it and I recommend it, I try to have an affiliate relationship. Of course, there's JVs. Of course, there's events and seminars and webinars, and then merchandise. I think a lot of times speakers forget about merchandise. You know, one of the things you want to have is a great logo or icon that represents your products, of course, so you can put it on t-shirts and wristbands and cups and other things that people may actually want to buy. And then mini courses. It don't have to be that you create a full course. Sometimes you can do mini courses, and those courses can not only be sold on your website, but you may go to secondary sites like Udemy or Thinkific or things like that. So, I mean, I think as a speaker, you want to be shooting to have about 7 streams of income if you could possibly have it.
Yep, I agree with you. And I mean, if you don't love doing something, so for example, some people don't love doing private coaching, then don't do it.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, I do private coaching, group coaching, I have online programs. I don't sell products. That's one thing that I haven't done in quite some time, just because it's just not been my focus, but it's certainly something that can create revenue. And so private coaching, group coaching, live events, think if I must have done anything else. Online trainings, webinars, do all of it. Do everything that you love to do, right? If you don't love something, don't do it because it won't sell well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just won't. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple trainers that are in my program. And then, you know, one of the things we started working on was the online courses. They do training. Also, they do meal plans. And then they start doing supplements. So we talked about, you know, doing private label supplements, and they do protein powders, and they do vitamins and things like that. And then they got the clients to put those on auto ship. So now what ends up happening is you have this monthly reoccurring income, you know. Then they did body charts, and, you know, then they can do, you know, weight loss gear. I mean, weightlifting gear, or they can do even weights or the band. So, I mean, you got to really try to think outside the box, because there's a lot of income streams that are there. And you want to constantly be feeding, you know, the fans that you have. I think one of the things too that I realized, and my mindset shifted, and I call this the difference between thinking like Blockbuster and thinking like Netflix. I think that we have to change our mindset, because the world has changed, where we have a lot of programs where you pay a small amount and you get a long-lasting relationship. And so I'm constantly thinking like that now. You know, what can I do that I can keep people working with me for a year or 24 months? So I can constantly be giving them drip content, charging them a small amount, and keep that relationship ongoing, so that I get like a Netflix reoccurring income versus a one-time sales like Blockbuster, or that type of, you know, that type of previous way of thinking.
So creating a membership site, something like that.
That would be a great way of doing a Netflix.
Okay. Do you have any suggestions for anybody that might want to create a membership site?
I do. I think that if you can create something where maybe weekly you're releasing a 10 to 20 minute video to the people who want to know about a certain subject, and maybe once a month you get online with a Zoom like we're doing now, and you actually answer questions and interact with the people. I think personal interaction helps tremendously. And at least if you can do that once a month or twice a month, answer questions, things like that, I think you'd be surprised that people will be happy. You're helping people on a long-term basis. You're building relationships, and you'll get an incredible income.
Yep, and I hadn't experienced that before, but recently I enrolled in a program. It was like $297 for 3 months, right? And then you could do, you know, longer term. But I wanted to try it out, and that's what exactly that person's doing. They're using a Facebook group, right? So they give you a whole bunch of online programs to start with. And then there's a Facebook group that provides, private Facebook group that provides support. You can post things, but also he does like weekly videos.
Mm-hmm.
And that, so the technology is there for anybody today that wants to create something like that. And I'm sure you can do it on your own website and things like that as well.
You can't, and the statistics say if you have something under $49, people are less likely to cancel it because a lot of times they don't feel that because it's such a small amount. And a lot of times they will let charges like that go on for a year. And I know probably everybody has something that you can say, man, geez, I forgot I have that coming out of my credit card. And we just don't take the time or energy to cancel it because it is such a small amount.
Right. How many gym memberships do people hold on to for months, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So let's have a final question I want to talk to you about is sales funnels.
Mm-hmm.
Many times people, they might hear that term, but they don't really know what it means and why it's so important.
Okay. So in real sales, we know normally there's a sales path, basically, which is the same thing as a sales funnel. You know, the funny thing is about every occupation always has its own language. I've always think that they don't put things in a simple language because they want you to pay for understanding something, where if they put it in simple language, you didn't have to pay for it. But just the basic sales path, you know, it's the sales path. You're going to give them something free. And then you're going to give them a series of emails that leads to them buying. You know, every email is normally going to be selling you to click on watching a video that maybe is education. In this marketplace, I think that education is marketing. Because there is so much information and content out there. Mm-hmm. I think people have to get to know, like, and trust you, and you do that through constantly feeding them content. And then that content leads them to, once they trust you, to later buy from you. And then after they buy from you, you may do, say, a small sale, and then you may upsell them to something that's a little more expensive, and then you may upsell them to something that's a little more personal. So I didn't say more expensive, I said personal, because you may go from a $49 product to a $497 product, and maybe the next product is $997, but then that's when they may be actually working with you. And I'm just, you know, guessing at prices, but they may get personal time with you, because a lot of times you have, like, you do it yourself, the done with you, the done for you. And those are different levels of what we do as speakers. And the doing it yourself is basically, I'm going to give you a course, you just read it, listen to it, and go out and do it on your own. And you may have a done for you, which may be a group coaching. And then you may have it done for you, which may be a personalized coaching where you help them personally walk them through things. So, you know, just, you know, the more you give a person, the more you can charge, but it's deeper, it goes deeper into the relationship.
Yep. And to start, you know, if somebody's brand new that's watching this, start at the first thing. You know, what's the first thing that you can deliver? You know, then build the next thing, then build the next thing. And you can always start in the middle and then just, you know, go higher, and then just make sure you fill that lower gap. You always need that lower price point, because people often need to build that know, like, and trust factor, and those lower price points will create that.
Very, very, very true. We call it a trigger. You know, the other thing too, if you're having trouble getting started, because this is a problem I would run into with everybody in my personal platinum groups, is they would be like, okay, I'm going to create content, but they never would. I'm going to do it, but they didn't do it the next week. So I would tell them, you know what, just announce it on Facebook, set a date, do a Zoom, record the Zoom, use that as content. And then as you get better and you get used to it, you'll start doing it separate on your own. But sometimes when you make a promise to somebody else, it's a lot easier to keep than when you make a promise to yourself.
That's right. I do the same thing. Mm-hmm. I have a mastermind I'm part of, and an accountability personal 1-2 people, myself and someone else. And I gave her the steps. Okay, I've been avoiding doing these things. They're getting done this week. Done. Right? And because I spoke it into being and I committed to somebody else, I'm going to get it done. And just so you know, we all have those issues, but we realize that those things show up, that sometimes take us out, and for whatever reason they are, and we make choices about that we're going to do something about it. And by having accountability, such as a coach like Joe or myself or someone else that's going to hold you to that level, you will get stuff done.
Mm-hmm. I agree, AmondaRose.
Yeah.
When you have somebody else to be accountable to, you're more likely to get stuff done than when you're just accountable to yourself.
That's right. And you have to tell people that believe in you not people who test you. So for example, maybe you say, I'm going to go on this weight loss plan. That's, different than speaking, but just for an example, I'm going to go on this weight loss plan. You tell your spouse and your spouse isn't supportive and your spouse is like, oh, I bought, Dunkin' Donuts today and I bought this. That's not the accountability person, right? The accountability person is somebody you say, I'm going to do this. You could pick up the phone and say, I'm struggling with this. Help me. I need help. I need some brainstorming. I need to just say that I'm struggling. You need somebody who's going to be cheering you on.
Yes.
All the way.
I agree 120%.
So Dr. Joe, how could, if people want to learn more, what steps could they take?
So I have arranged a free gift. And if they go to drjoewhite.com/free speaker gift, they'll be able to get a free resource guide that will give them websites, links, different things they can actually use to help them on their speaker journey. It's kind of a gift for just being here at this particular time. So if you want to do a membership course, there's information there about that. So there's a lot of links there. And I'm always open. They can always email me at admin@drjoewhite.com. I'm happy to answer any questions and help in any way I can.
Okay. And the website again is?
drjoewhite.com. For the free gift, it's drjoewhite.com/free speaker gift. My email is admin@drjoewhite.com.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Joe, you are truly amazing. And it's been an honor to spend time with you. And I know that the viewers are going to have a handful of notes because first time I interviewed Dr. Joe at my event, I didn't have, because I was interviewing him, I didn't have notes, but I went back and said, what did you say about this? And what was that? And who was the last one after Tribe? And he's just so amazing. And I know that you'll be looking at your notes, and please tell everybody that you love Dr. Joe as much as we do.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. I want to thank you and honor you for taking the time to really grow your speaking business, to reach more people, to touch more lives, and also to be open to making more money. Because the more money we make, the more people that we help. And the more people that we help, the more money that we will make. So go out there, make some money, share your message, and have the impact that you always desire. Love to you all. Bye, everybody.